无耻的敌人会恐慌，战死在这沙场上。
The Islamic State video, sung in Mandarin, called on Muslim brothers in China to awaken and to die on the battlefield. China's foreign ministry had this reaction.
In
the face of terrorism, no country can stand on its own, and the international community should stand closer together and cooperate to jointly strike against all forms of terrorism.
Like Al-Qaeda in the past, the Islamic State could be attempting to reach out to restive Muslim Uyghur populations in China's far west.
But you never really saw Al-Qaeda put any resources behind trying to launch attacks or support that group. I think we're seeing a very similar narrative at the moment with ISIS.
With its increasing investment in the Middle East and Africa, analyst Raffaello Pantucci says China is becoming more exposed. For example, 3 Chinese railway executives were killed in November's attack on the Radisson Hotel in Bamako, Mali.
The threat of ISIS to China is less one that's probably going to touch Chinese shores. I think the bigger threat to them is Chinese nationals in third locations who may get caught up in some sort of an ISIS attack.
Beijing called for greater coordination in the fight against terror at this week's summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, a regional grouping of 6 Eurasian states.
I suggest that all member countries strengthen coordination and communication, border defense cooperation, and accelerate the consultation on an anti-extremism convention.
But compared to the West, China and its allies at the Shanghai summit have a different definition of extremism.
If you look at all the member states, they all kind of agree on what they would define as a terrorist. And all of them have the same problems with sort of non-state groups, be they politically minded or violent. And they all kind of interpret it in the same way. And so terrorism is always a very useful kind of banner that they can all get around.
Analysts say those differing interpretations could hamper cooperation between China and the West. But analysts say there are increasing signs of willingness in Beijing to provide greater support for the fight against the Islamic State. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.